We're recording.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome to this stay-at-home order Corona COVID-19 episode. Out on a walk, getting our exercise, which should be allowed.
It's allowed.
It's allowed. Okay.
It's allowed.
With Lindsay. This podcast, as always, is brought to you by Craftsman Home Inspections. Get the best home inspection this side of eternity.
Hold that, please. Thanks.
From Craftsman Home Inspections, LLC.
Yuck.
What is that?
It's like a beehive.
Yeah, it's a wasp nest.
There's something about multiple circles all stuck together. I just can't.
What did you think it was?
It just creeps me out.
Creeped
No,
you
I
out
knew
so
that's
much.
what it was. It's the texture, it's the look.
You had to go back and look.
There's like a syndrome for that. I don't know what it's called, but...
All right, so on this episode, this podcast, we'll call this the Stir Crazy episode. Lindsay wanted to podcast something lighthearted and something that didn't have to do with the coronavirus, and give all of you out there something to enjoy and maybe laugh about, maybe, right? This is your idea.
This is my idea. I'm a comedian.
So we're going for a walk.
Here to
So
make you laugh.
I just wired Lindsay up and myself wirelessly. We got one kid in a stroller. Emery's riding her bike. We're going by a construction site. So this could either turn out really well or really bad. Yeah.
I'm running. Jeremiah's gonna walk like 50 feet behind me.
Because I actually don't want to be out walking right now. But this is how Lindsay gets. This is Lindsay's first day home in a while because she's still working like normal. She's at home for about 3 hours and she had to get out.
I just like to be outside.
So she
I need my endorphins.
got super
and I
dramatic
get
and made
endorphins.
us leave the house.
I get endorphins.
So I left.
From being
I
outside.
left without a belt on, so pants are gonna be falling down.
He's
this
also
whole
wearing
time.
socks with sandals. So
Which
jeans.
I want to say I kind of started that trend. I had a ton of people making fun of me for wearing Birkenstocks and sandals about how long ago? 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yep.
You're making fun of me. Go downtown and you're gonna see everybody wearing Jeremiah's style.
That's great. That's great. If you were dressed in running clothes, you could be running with me.
Putting on workout pants.
What?
Putting on workout pants.
Oh, good job, babe. All right, let's run to the end and come back. There we go. There we go.
All right, so what you people just witnessed was the shortest loss of a battle argument in a marriage ever. A short little musical interlude you just heard was me losing a battle and changing from jeans and no belt and sandals to running shoes and workout pants. What do you call these things?
Wind pants. Got on
Wind
me.
pants. Changing to wind pants. Pants
The
that help
wind,
me
break the wind.
break the wind
Or pass wind.
or pass the wind. No, these would trap the wind, I'm sure. Yeah, they're like plastic. I'm wearing my plastic pants now. So you won that battle.
Thanks, Jer.
I am now all of a sudden a fit person, ready to take on the world, ready to work out, ready to lose calories.
That'd be fun.
Let's talk about running while we're running. We'll tell running stories.
Okay.
This episode is to help lighten the mood
Yes.
in this pandemic. So you have something while a cement truck goes by. So you have something lighthearted to take your mind off of everything else that's going on. So maybe in the next 30 to 45 minutes, you are thinking and interacting with something besides the news. And this will be us running, talking about running. So we both ran a half marathon in Tahoe, right?
Yes. I was impressed.
Oh my gosh, now we're running. So you guys are gonna hear me get winded and Lindsay will be fine.
Maybe.
Lindsay is also pushing the stroller
Yeah.
with 2 kids in the stroller, and I can't do that because I won't be able to keep up with her. I'll be like this. But
He's gonna be like that anyway.
all right, I'll be like that anyway, no matter what. A fast walk will get me like that at this point in my life. So, all right, Lindsay, when did you start running? You were a runner when I knew you. We were both kind of running when we first met, right?
Yeah, you were chasing after me.
Yeah, you know I was.
So I was a competitive cheerleader in high school, and I never really ran. I mean, we ran just for conditioning then, but I was never really a runner. And so it was after high school.
So what is a runner to you?
Someone that's running consistently, can run more than a mile without stopping.
All right, my opinion, I think a runner is, no, I agree with you. Someone who could probably run more than a mile to consider yourself a runner. But I think a runner is someone who enjoys running.
That's
Who,
true.
when they think of running, all of a sudden positive things come to mind.
So are you a runner
They
too?
start thinking like, this is gonna be the best part of my day. This is gonna be enjoyable. I look forward to running.
Well, I think I'm a worker-outer because
No,
that's
what I'm
I look
saying
forward
is
to
most
that.
people, or a lot of people, when you say let's go for a run, it's like where I'm at right now in life. Like, no, let's not do that. Why would I do that?
Babe, when I asked, do you want to just let's go to the park and play the football around? Bleh,
Bah.
blue. So,
I'm in this place in life, and just so you guys know, we're actually recording this while we're running. I'm in this place in life where I'm extremely motivated in my hobbies, which are as follows. I don't know what my hobbies are. What are my hobbies, Lindsay?
podcasting.
But I don't put out that many podcasts.
Your hobby is collecting podcast equipment.
It's figuring things out, researching, creating resources for other people, creating content, starting a new project which will turn into another business, a podcast studio.
Yeah.
So
We're going uphill, guys.
I'm pretty much in
Bear
the
with
zone.
us.
Yeah, we're going uphill. I'm pretty much in the zone all the time. And then on your days off, which is sometimes
we go
our
for a
days
run.
off, but a lot of times I work on your days off. So we'll alternate our schedules.
Yeah, you do inspections. On our days
So
off.
I'll be in the zone doing my thing on the computer, and you'll want to go to the park or go for a run or get outside. And like I was saying earlier, you'll make it happen. Because if mom ain't happy, nobody happy.
So anyway, that's what a runner is.
A
Just to
runner is
sum it
all
up.
those things we just mentioned.
All those things.
All right, so when did you start running? So
So after high school,
after high school, you really got
And-
into it.
it was fun.
Would you you started running, what was good for you? Like a mile? 2
See,
miles?
back then we didn't have a Fitbit. We didn't have things to track
You had to
how
motivate
fast you're
yourself.
going. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I probably run a 5-minute mile. So, which was probably
Which is a
15-minute mile.
Yeah.
So I'd get home and be like, oh,
You got that Fitbit
I
and
just
reality
ran for,
set in, and you're like, that was 15
30
minutes?
minutes. I must have gone 6 miles. But I probably went a mile and a half. But I enjoyed it. It was really fun.
We're okay, we gave up on running. Now we're walking uphill at an extreme pace.
Extreme pace, you guys.
Extreme. We're catching up to these zombies up ahead of us.
Yeah. 6 feet.
I started running, gosh,
Right before we got married.
right before we got married. Right during that season of life, I started running. I think I was in ministry full time. And I was working you work
1,000,000,000 hours.
50 hours 1 week. That was a slow week. And then it could be 60. Sometimes it could be more than that. I worked 6 days a week. I want to say I had Mondays off and then half a day Saturday off.
Yeah.
So I had 1.5 days off. So running for me, I'm breathing hard. Running for me became like a little bit of an escape. Like I got to get away from it all. I can picture myself running now. Over there on my low-income housing apartment, over there by the Broncos training center in Centennial, Colorado. It was so nice because when you're out there, it's just like you and my Christian rap, or just me, and what I'm hearing right now is like a little bit of wind, my heartbeat.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's very soothing.
Yeah, it felt really good just to be like away from everything. Nobody knew that I was running. Like in that moment, in that time, for my run, nobody could get a hold of me unless I wanted to be gotten a hold of. And that's a good feeling. That's a good break.
Very dangerous, Jeremiah.
Is it?
Yes.
Why?
Because what if somebody kidnapped you?
So be it.
And nobody knew I was running.
So
Nobody
be
could
it.
get a hold of me.
Kidnapping would just be another adventure. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry if that was insensitive, but to who? The few people that are listening that have been kidnapped before?
Hopefully not.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we'll be editing that out.
End of story. So, okay, so that's when I started running, and a mile felt good, right?
Yeah.
So, wherever you're at right now, I would suggest if you're quarantined
Hold your breath.
or you've got some like stay-at-home orders, smile at people while you've got these stay-at-home orders, because it's not people's natural inclination to smile right now with this whole coronavirus thing going on. So be the person who starts the smiling, and find the good in this situation where we're at during this coronavirus. Get out there and go for a walk.
What's sad is that we're passing our park right now. They have it
can't-
all taped off, like
can't
it's
play
under
the-
construction.
We can't play at the park, guys. We're not allowed to. So anyways, that's when I started running.
Okay, we'll just keep running down there.
So when I started running, it was very therapeutic for me. It got me out of my routine, and it broke up my norm, and I felt really good. But I would say if you're kind of quarantined right now, get out and go for a walk. Start with a walk, and then make it a brisk walk. And then try to say, hey, maybe I could brisk walk for half a mile, and then I'll brisk walk for a mile. So anyways.
Or run a little bit and then walk a little bit. Let your heart rate recover, then
Yeah.
run a little bit and then walk a little bit. That's totally acceptable too.
All right, so we started running, and then we started dating, and running and walking became a huge part of our dating relationship.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Right? Like that was like the thing that we did. We had our mutual buddy, Michael Rogers, that would go for runs with us, and that was so much fun.
That was fun. But the problem was that at that point, I'm just competitive by nature, and I'd been running a lot for a while, and I had very good endurance. But when I would go run
in
with
your mind, you were an athlete.
I was an athlete. I was an Olympic runner.
Yeah.
Everyone. And I would go with Jeremiah,
In my mind.
and his legs are like 5 feet long. And he would
So
like,
I'm 6 feet even. What are you?
I am 5'2.5".
Okay.
And he would start running with me, and then he would start showboating. So he'd run up ahead of me, and I'm like focusing. I'm kind of getting winded, so that's kind of like, oh man.
You built up years of endurance.
And he's like running in front of me, running backwards, jumping over logs, like skipping, and all while
Spinning in the air.
all while he's running. And I'm like, this is serious business. You don't do that while you're running. You can't.
It's not fun. You were like determined not to have fun while you were working out.
No, I just wanted working out to be serious, serious business. And
Enter me.
that just frustrated me.
And that was like a couple year ordeal for you, being like ticked off at me for having fun while we worked out.
Wasn't mad at you. I just,
It was like a frustration during our workouts.
it got to my competitive side where I was like, I should be better. at running than you are. So you should be the one that's winded.
Yeah, so Lindsay
having a
was
hard
like
time.
this athlete, you know, in high school. She was the captain of her cheerleading squad. They made it to not just state, but the nationals 2 years in a row, right?
Well, every year we went to nationals.
Okay,
But
at Disney World.
yeah.
And that's a big deal in the cheerleading world. Here I come, I was this like punk rock kid who was never involved in athletes except for the summer right before my freshman year. I did the football thing and I gave up because they told you had to practice after school every day. So we got married and moved to Lake Tahoe and we started really seriously running, like, right?
Yeah.
We would run like 5 miles down Tahoe Boulevard from end to end, from where we lived to the end of Tahoe Boulevard was
Wasn't
5
it like
miles.
8 miles was like the whole town?
Probably.
From end to end almost.
Yeah, so we would run that, and then when we ran it together, I'd be like jumping up on like bus stop benches, jumping off and twisting around the air, running backwards.
It was obnoxious.
So it was obnoxious. Eventually, all of that running, that hobby, led us to wanting to complete some kind of race, right? Because we had never done that.
Yeah.
Was that a bucket list item for you to like compete or just run an official race?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so
It was on the day before our first wedding, our first year being married, so our anniversary.
and I wanted to do it with you, but we did not end up doing it the same. So, what race did you run?
I ran it up in Truckee, California, and then we stayed at that nice hotel. They should not be playing on that playground. Gonna call the police.
Get off that playground.
We're passing an elementary school, and there's a bunch of people playing. They are not social distancing.
Sanitizer! Just kidding. Okay, so
I did
you
that.
ran a race, but I wasn't able to do it with you because I was working,
Yeah, I think you were working. I don't know why.
and you ran it by yourself.
I did. Yeah,
Okay, half marathon.
half marathon.
Okay, cool.
Yep, it went well. It was
Before-
beautiful.
before I did.
You started at the base of this mountain, and then you would
Where did you guys start running?
I can't remember.
We started up before in like Truckee City, I think, kind of close, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But right north of Emerald Bay and Lake Tahoe.
And Emerald, yeah. So that was beautiful. Tahoe was just gorgeous to begin with. And so that was my first marathon. And then I would say it must have been,
All right, give me your highlights because there was something pretty memorable about your half marathon.
that I fell down.
Did you eat it like really hard, like on the top of your knees? You got scraped?
That's been
Wow.
erased from my memory.
So Lindsay has recessed that memory. It was so bad.
No, I remember running.
Here's what I know from being a kid. If you run and fall down and you scrape above your knees, that's a really bad.
Did I scrape
Spill.
above my knees? I did
Yes.
not. You're making this out worse than it was.
I remember you telling me the story
No,
and seeing the scrapes above your knees. That means
Yeah,
you ate
right.
it.
I have an
Like you-
Instagram
like-
post.
No, that means you
Hush.
flat out,
Hush.
Superman,
I
ate it
did
through the air,
not.
skidded on the ground.
I did
What happened?
not.
How did you fall?
I just fell down and I had to catch myself.
There was
and
something
so
about a log.
I ended up like scraping my palm. I have a little cut on my palm.
No, I can picture you in my mind through my memory that I've created through your story.
Yeah, exactly. You've made it much, much more
I
dramatic.
made it something worth remembering.
Yeah. No, I just fell down and I scraped my hand.
When
It
did you
may
fall
have been
down?
more
How
than
did
that,
you fall
but I don't remember.
All right, we're gonna have to go back through the Instagram history and see if we find anything. But okay,
Yeah.
continue.
So that was it. It was just fun. I just remember, like when you run, in the neighborhood or whatever, you just have your little water with you, or, I guess you're supposed to stash waters here and there. I have no idea, but so it's just
Yours was through a neighborhood?
no,
Oh gosh. Okay.
no. I'm saying if
Ours
you're,
wasn't. Ours was just through the beautiful.
mine was not
mountains of
through a
Tahoe.
neighborhood. I'm trying to paint the picture.
You didn't
of-
understand how you were supposed to stay hydrated after running through running 13.
No, I just thought it was cool being in an
1
official
miles.
race because they had tables set up with water or Gatorade or some little snacks, and I just thought that was really cool because when I run in the neighborhood training,
Gotcha.
we don't have that.
You're at the mercy of whatever you've supplied yourself.
Yeah.
I was always really prepared running, right? I had the water bottle attached
Yeah, you were
to my
probably
hand.
over prepared.
And
You always buy like what ultra marathoners need to take with them for your like 3-mile run.
with everything I do, I go all the way.
Yeah, he does. He goes all the way.
So I had like a water bottle attached to my hand. You could strap it around your hand. And in that, I had like a powdered electrolyte drink in there. And then I had a fanny pack that carried a water bottle.
And probably like Gatorade gummies.
Carried Gatorade gummies. That also helped your body. So no wonder I was jumping up on benches and doing somersaults.
You probably just
or-
had so much caffeine in you that you were just jittery and
I was
so.
on an electrolyte overload. I don't know
Yeah.
what that does to you. Let's go this way. We never go this way. That was a lot of fun.
And then for the half marathon, ouch.
Sorry.
It's okay.
What do you call that when you step on the back of someone's foot?
Flat tire.
Flat tire.
But it was the side of my foot.
Gave you a flat tire.
Jeremiah's got really big feet, and so
And I'm wearing my squeaky shoes.
it's hard for him to control where his feet go.
I'm gonna tell people
sometimes.
about my squeaky shoes.
Well, let's keep talking about marathons.
Okay. Now everybody's dying to know about my squeaky shoes.
So the second marathon, so you did a marathon.
Half marathon.
Half marathon.
Do I get to tell my story now?
Well, no, I'll have to confess.
All right,
I
you tell my story the way you remember it.
Um,
Let's talk about preparation up to the marathon. Half marathon.
Okay. So I actually am very impressed with Jeremiah with this. So we lived in the mountains in Lake Tahoe. We lived up like Kingsbury grade.
So we started out when we moved out there, we got married. We started out right by the water, like 2 blocks, 4 blocks maybe at the most from the lake. And then a year later, our contract is up with our apartment. And then we moved up the mountain, like high up on the mountain.
And we could
right
actually oversee
on the
Carson
national trails.
Yeah, we could oversee Carson Valley. So basically, you would step out our
We
front
were on
door.
the peak of the mountain by the ski resorts.
Yeah, you would step out the front door and you were just in the mountains. So we'd go trail running basically daily. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And so we signed up for this second half marathon, and I was ready for it, just training, whatever that looked like, just running. And I had found out I was pregnant with Emery. And so this was probably, August or September? And my OBGYN was said, well, you can run the half marathon, but you have to keep your heart rate under 140 beats per minute. And I'm like, yeah, right.
Don't even know what that means, but yeah.
Well, if you're like monitoring
got
your
you.
heart rate, yeah. And I'm
Don't
like,
try to explain it. I won't understand.
you are running at like 9,000 feet for your altitude. There is no way you're keeping your heart rate under 140 for 13 miles. So it wasn't safe, so I didn't end up running it. So I was kind of bitter. Again, because I'm competitive and I can be kind of a jerk. And so that morning, I wanted to be super supportive of Jeremiah, and I just was like so bummed that I couldn't run it. That I was I even there for the finish line?
You were there at the finish line, yeah.
Okay, I just didn't
At some
go.
point, I got my Michelob lights for $1 at the finish line.
I just felt bad because I should have been.
You showed up at some point.
I should have been more supportive. So
I
lesson
didn't care.
learned.
I was in the zone.
Okay, so going back, rewinding, for Jeremiah to train, we were running, but this was like 2 weeks before the half marathon. He just started running sprints up the Kingsbury grade.
Which is like a really,
Really
steep mountain road that goes from Lake Tahoe up the mountain, which eventually, we lived at the peak. Once you're at the peak, it goes down to Carson City. So we lived at the peak of this mountain. The road up there is called Kingsbury Grade.
And then there was a resort even higher up.
Yeah,
so I want to
little bit up
say
from us.
you went from like 7,000 feet to like 8,000 feet, just up this little
So we had
grade.
signed up for this thing. Lindsay couldn't do it. So I kind of lost steam. I quit really training to that extent where I needed to run, 13.1 miles without stopping. And finally, like a couple weeks before the race, I went, you know what? I should do this thing because it's on my bucket list, and I want to make this happen. I started like all of a sudden every day running 4 miles, then running 6 miles. And then I got to the point where within this couple week period, I started running 8 miles every day, no matter how hard it or how much it hurt. I was running 8 miles a day.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I was running 8 miles a day.
That's impressive. I thought you just
in
ran.
a very, very short period of time, just because I just went, you know what, I realized like I wasn't gonna get to that 13.1 mile. All right, we're starting to run again. So I'm gonna start breathing deep, hard. So I realized that I didn't have enough time to train to get to that 13.1 mile distance. So I knew I could do eventually. I was like, we've been running 10 miles in Tahoe because we'd run from our house to the end of Lake Tahoe Boulevard, 5 miles and back. And then we'd each be on the phone like, okay, if I need to get picked up, you pick me up.
Yeah.
So we knew, I was like, I know I can do 10 miles, but in that short a time to train, I had only gotten up to being able to run 8 miles a day right before the half marathon.
So you're like 5 miles short of.
I'm like 5 miles short,
which
but
is
I was like,
quite a bit.
It is quite a bit. So I was like, if I can get to 8 miles, fine. Okay, I can do 8 miles. Then I'm just gonna have to mentally prepare to tell myself, you have to make it to the end because I'm not about to stop and I'm not about to walk. So that brings me to this point. We started off talking about running, talking about what is a serious runner. I think a serious runner is someone who has a goal in mind as far as mileage that they want to run, and you can't stop running until you meet that mileage.
Yeah.
I've got stories in there. I was just telling Joel the other day. They're not appropriate to share, but I'll probably share them anyways. So anyways, keep going. Tell my story. I like hearing it from someone else.
Well, I've suppressed so many things. I don't know if I'm going to remember all the details. So I think you got. What was your place? Your finish? You did amazing.
All right. Did you drop me off that day? You had to have. So I had this whole regimen in like place. I was taking like these certain supplements. I had things I was eating. So let's remind me, let's talk about lessons you've learned through being a runner, okay, at the end.
Okay.
I had disciplines that I'd never put in place in my life that I was doing as far as eating, as far as how I was drinking, supplements I was taking morning, midday, afternoon while I was running and training. So the day of the race came and I had my hand water bottle.
Yep.
So I was training with that and I was like, I'm not gonna change my routines for this race. So that had vitamins and electrolytes in it. And then in my little fanny pack, I had a water bottle. And then that also had the same thing, had electrolytes like Gatorade in there, vitamins. And then I had electrolyte gummies in my fanny pack.
Yeah.
And then I had a Cliff Bar so that while you're running 13.1 miles, that's a long time. I don't know what that works out to in like hours of running.
Probably.
It's a while.
Probably like 2 hours.
Okay. So I had a Cliff Bar in my fanny pack so that mid-run I could get a snack.
Good snack.
A little snacky do. But you have to ration that snack out because if you get hungry after 5 miles, eat part of it, maybe a quarter of it, maybe
but you also
a third of it.
You don't want to eat anything that's going to make you feel like gassy or bloated or
yeah,
need to go
so
to the bathroom.
I remember the night before, I was really particular about like, okay, what am I going to eat that's going to fuel me the best the next morning? And I was because I wasn't prepared for running 13.1 miles, I was so concerned about, I say that dramatically, I wasn't really that concerned, but I was just going, okay, what am I going to eat tonight that's going to fuel me for the morning? We never go down there. What is that?
Well, it's an underpass. You have to
There's
walk.
a path that goes underground, under the road. We
I know.
need to do that.
That just scares me.
All right.
Little Grinch is going to be under there.
I like that. I could fight him.
Yeah.
Give me something to do.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of people walking. It's nice.
A lot of people. Get some vitamin D. All right. So I remember I ate fish and fresh veggies the night before. So from now on, if I ever do a race again, I'm gonna eat fish and fresh veggies.
Interesting. Some people carb load, right?
Yeah, a lot of it. So, but yeah, I ate a lot of fish and a lot of veggies. I mean, there's carbs and veggies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next morning before the race, I wanted my stomach to be full with something that would fuel me because you need to burn that. I ate a large bowl of oatmeal.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
So I was ready. I got at the front of the line. There's like hundreds of people, right, at that starting line.
Yeah.
This is a big deal, the Tahoe Half Marathon. And it was also a marathon and an ultra marathon.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I did the half marathon part, the wimpier part. I think the full marathon is obviously 26.2 miles. And then the ultra marathon was like, if you're an ultra marathon runner, listen
Isn't it
to
like
this, I'm
3
sorry.
marathons in a row?
I want to say
or
it's like
something?
70 some miles.
Yeah,
So there's people doing that too, and they started the day before.
which is like 3 marathons.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Day after day
Exhausting.
after day.
I started in the front of the line, got there early, and then got out ahead. And for the first, I'd say probably 2 to 3 miles, I was feeling really good. Like I was ahead. It felt so good to go, that part of this run, I'm in first. And then at about 5 miles, this was like getting to a peak of a mountain or a hill right before you get to, what was the hill coming down to Emerald Bay, which if you're listening, Google Emerald Bay. It's one of the most photographed places on planet Earth. It's just beautiful. It's this bay in Lake Tahoe, which is one of the deepest lakes in the country. It could cover the entire state of California in I think an inch
Or 2 inches
or
of
a foot of water or something like that. It's so deep. They don't even know how deep this lake is. But anyways, at Emerald Bay, it's this bay that opens up, and in the middle of this bay is an island that some lady eons ago used to have tea at. So anyways, we got to the peak of this hill, and we're coming down Emerald Bay, and what do you know? Probably at least a 70-year-old man started passing me
Oh no.
with his shirt off. And here's me with my shirt still on. There's another thing. What makes a serious runner? Are you willing to take your shirt off for your run? And you don't care who's around, who sees. You're just like, I gotta do whatever I can to stay cool, to keep this run going, and to get my time, right? So anyways,
Right.
the 70-year-old man starts passing me. So then I realized this is serious. Like, this dude's prepared. I'm feeling okay at this point, but he was the first of a few to pass me.
Oh man.
So,
Sounds like a beautiful, super beautiful.
oh, it was so beautiful.
Run.
At that point, I gave up on being first. The thought of being like, I'm gonna win this entire thing in every age category and every whatever.
Right.
And I just started going, you know what? What an awesome thing to just be outside, to be running around Lake Tahoe with other people. It was so fun because, like you said, there's the people at the drink stations.
Right.
They're handing you water or Gatorade and little
Just
cups
makes you
as
feel like you're an
as
Olympic
running.
athlete.
Yeah. You're living the dream for a moment of life. And then they're also giving you like little cookies. So you
Yeah.
get like a little bit of like sugar and carbs to like keep you going. Oh wow, that's cool.
We got some cute little kids on a
On a power wheel.
Power wheel.
All right, let's sidestep this conversation so I can tell my first ever
Like
power
your
wheel story. That's
car.
cool. All right, let me tell my power wheel story. So the first girl I ever fell in love with was driving a pink Barbie power wheel. I'll never forget it.
And it wasn't me, by the
It
way.
was not Lindsay. It takes me back. Her name was Ariani. I can still remember it because as I was a kid growing up, my grandmother, right on top of her toilet, had a perfume called Ariani.
Do you think it was just Ariane? And the E
maybe.
was silent?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Maybe.
Or it was an A, Ariana, and as
It
a
was
kid,
Diarani.
the E was like an A, and
It was
you were
like
not sure.
It was the first of the poop purries. Diarani.
That's disgusting.
And I read it wrong. Just like the Disney thing. Like I never understood. I thought it was a G.
Yes, I thought that was a
instead of a
fancy
D.
G instead of a D.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Grow up thinking you don't know how to spell. That'd be fun.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Book down.
Book down.
And we dropped her book out of the stroller.
And I ran over it. Is it okay?
It's
Okay.
It happened to my computer one time. Anyways, so, oh, Joel's calling me. Let's see if he wants to be in our podcast.
It's like a type of
Hey, what's up, dude?
scooter, I think.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm recording a podcast with Lindsay on while we're going for a walk.
Oh, okay.
You're on it right now.
All right. What are you guys talking about?
We're about running.
We're running. We're recording a podcast while we're running, talking about running.
But we're also walking.
But we're also walking.
Stay at home.
Oh, stay at home. I know. We're about to go under a cement bridge.
Oh, echo.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any stories about running?
I can just remember when I was going on those 6-mile runs at night. There's times where it was like, all of a sudden you have to go to the bathroom and you still have like half a mile till you get home.
Yeah.
And you're just about to pee your pants.
What did you do? Do you hold it? This is a good segue because I'd like to share my committed to running pee stories.
Oh. There were several times where I just got to the door and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to unlock the door and hold it. So I just ended up going in the backyard.
Yeah, you reach your limit and you know where your limit is.
Yeah, it's just like there's no way. I'm already doing the pee-pee dance at the front door.
Yeah, so there was
you love
like
it and you're just making it with
some
your places.
miraculous somehow in some miraculous way you could hold it to that moment, but then you're like, you're in a safe place and you're like, my background, the backyard is my land. If I want to pee on my land, then I will do it.
My land.
I've got some pee running stories.
Oh, I remember.
Okay, this is Joel. Joel's coming to you via speakerphone.
So I'm gonna leave these groceries outside for Stephanie to pick up. Then I'm gonna go in the garage, pick up all my clothes, and leave the clothes in the garage and walk in naked.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're supposed to get
You're
undressed
literally-
outside in front of your house.
You are literally supposed to.
Wipe yourself down in front of the watching world, and then ask for permission to enter.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm sharing my story about running my half marathon in Tahoe. I'm trying to make it as heroic as possible, of course. We're gonna end this episode on lessons you've learned through running or working out. Do you want to leave people with some lessons you've learned when it comes to running or working out?
I think relevant to the times is just that I've learned that you're never going to really want to do any of those things because a lot of people hate running.
Yeah.
But I think relevant to the times, it's like you have to, it's a good thing to do, working out and running to keep your sanity right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
something to stimulate your muscles and your brain
Releases
and
endorphins.
get your mind off of things for a little bit. But
Yeah.
that's like a huge thing right now is it's like you don't always feel like it. You'd rather lay on the couch and watch a movie to stimulate your muscles and your mind and your all of that.
And it's a huge discipline because most people, I mean, let's face it, most people don't want to work out. A lot of people do love working out, but a lot of people hate working out. It's a discipline. Like, if you don't develop the discipline, it'll never happen. It's like muscle memory. Like, you don't have muscle memory
And we have to remember
unless you develop muscles.
that
Yeah.
yeah, and for the Christian, you know, we also have to keep in mind that it plays hand in hand with the fruit of the
Okay,
Spirit.
can you stop now?
know?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, cool, man.
Well, let you finish your run.
All right, talk to you in a little bit. Bye. All right, so that was Joel Wheelersburg, my brother, also a frequent guest on the Minister of the Ministry and Me show. This episode is definitely part of the me, talking all about me and whatever I want to talk about. That was really good. So we'll see how that part turns out because Lindsay forgot that she had a mic on. So anyways, where were we? All right, so old man passed me up. I got some cookies. I got some water for some young volunteers and old people who are volunteering to hand out water to the thirsty and hungry runners. And I ended up finishing second. I have a silver medal in my possession, sitting next to my desk, second in my age division, which at the time was, I don't even know what it was. I was 25?
I don't
26?
know. 20.
I was about 26 or 27 at the time. So I ended up finishing second place in my age division with a silver medal.
It's awesome, babes.
In my first half marathon.
Good job.
So, how was that? You told my story most of the time. Did I finish it up very heroically, or?
Very heroically.
That's what I like to do.
Yes, great job.
All right. This has been the podcast episode, Running While Talking About Running. Let's finish this up. We were going to talk about things you've learned, life lessons maybe, critical skills, disciplines, I don't know what. What has running taught you?
I think just with anything in life, it teaches you
All right,
endurance.
here's where you're a good person to answer this question. Lindsay is one of the most disciplined persons I've ever met as far as it comes to things that are important in life, not just running or exercising, but when it comes to things that matter, like paying attention to the finances, to bills, to budgeting, and to exercising, taking care of your physical body. You are someone that I feel like people could look to as an example when it comes to discipline. So keep going.
I think it's just consistency. It's just building a consistent, making it a habit where it just becomes a part of your daily routine. So if you're working out, I used to work out way too much, and it was all motivated by how many calories can I burn? I need to stay a certain shape and a certain look, and so it was all done for the wrong motives. And I think it was...
So at different points in your life,
well, let me just...
you found different motivations,
Yeah.
and you had to change and adapt.
Yeah. I think Pastor Chuck Smith, I think he said, something about if you strive to attain, you're going to strive to maintain.
To obtain, yeah.
To obtain.
maintain.
And so I just felt like that was my life. I had this
Striving.
just striving, and I had somehow obtained what I thought was what I wanted as far as being able to run a certain distance and being a certain whatever. And
Here's what's interesting. You developed some unhealthy mental habits or whatever, but you'd also developed very healthy physical disciplines.
yeah, and so
Routines
finding that
most of us have a hard time getting to.
so finding that correct healthy balance of being able to work out because it's healthy for you mentally and physically.
Is it enjoyable?
It was, but I enjoyed it because it appeased that I have to work out for this amount of time. And we can save this for another episode, but
Yeah, we'll share your life story on a different episode.
So anyway, now
So why is it enjoyable now?
it's super enjoyable.
Why?
So I feel like when you're done working out, just the endorphins that you get, you release dopamine, which you have neural things in your brain that if they are not in balance, so serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine, and those things all need to be in the right balance just for you to feel mentally well. So people that are on antidepressants they're being given things that block their serotonin receptors so that you're increasing serotonin. So now they feel better mentally. So when you run, when you work out,
there are physiological
things,
things that you'll benefit from developing a healthy habit or discipline of working out.
Yes, and even if you go for a workout, you haven't worked out in months, and you will feel better because you have released dopamine into your brain. So from a chemical standpoint in your body, it's just going to make you feel better. So anyway, with discipline, you just have to it just becomes a daily part of your routine where you just feel like, I don't work out on the days that I work because I work 11, 12, 13-hour days, and that would just be physically exhausting. So on days that I'm off, I look forward to being able to go for a run with the girls. I put them in a stroller, we go for a run to the park. I do at-home workouts with Moms into Fitness, which is amazing, and it just makes you feel good. I like physically how it makes you feel.
All right.
And look, but you just feel good.
Reluctantly, I'm gonna have to agree, because I used to love working out and running, and we had our first kid, and I think it's become an excuse for me to not get back into the habit of working out, and that was 6 years ago. So I do have to agree, you very annoyingly forced me out of the house with you today to get some sun and to work out.
Yeah.
Even though I had to go back home and change my clothes, I feel really good right now.
Yeah. There was something, like literally we were sitting in the chair in the basement and I was falling asleep
The walls
sitting
were
there.
closing in.
And I'm like, I have got to get out. I just need to get my
But now
workout
the sun
done.
is hitting me, the fresh air, I'm hanging out with you guys.
It feels amazing.
It feels amazing. Anyways, all right, so you shared some of the things that running has taught you. Let me share some of the things that running has taught me. Running has taught me that you can develop discipline that you did not think was previously possible. So you could today say, I'm not a runner. My ankles hurt. I get shin splints, whatever. I got all those things at the beginning when I started running, the first, couple months. And I learned that if there's a goal worth attaining, it's going to cost you and it's going to cause you pain. And so when I first started running, through educating myself, through Lindsay being a runner before me, through reading magazines and articles about running and getting running tips, that those things were a natural process to your body adapting. Like your body has to adapt to the pain in order to get stronger. And so shin splints might have to do with you're wearing cheap shoes, you're wearing the wrong shoes. Maybe you're not following through. Maybe you haven't developed a disciplined pattern, like you ran 2 days in a row, your legs started hurting and you gave up. And then you tried to pick it up a week later after you felt better, and then the same thing happened. You have to push through the pain in order to progress, in order to gain strength, in order to come out on the other end as a stronger, better, your body more developed person. So I learned that you can push yourself to do things that you otherwise felt were not possible for yourself. And I think that's the best thing I've learned through running.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I used to be a person who would give up. And through my wife encouraging me through running, my wife pushing me to keep running, to keep getting out there, to keep working out, to keep trying to make myself better, I learned that I can become a better version of myself than I thought I was if I take the encouragement from others, I don't listen to the negative thoughts in my head, and I push through the pain and allow myself to come out on the other end as a stronger, better version of myself. And I think that I've learned to apply that in a lot of different areas of life. Marriage, business, fatherhood, Christianity, our faith, walking with God. All imperfect, all a struggle, but all a discipline worth investing in, worth developing, worth pushing through. And all that to say, today I didn't even want to go outside and go for a walk.
I know.
And I'm just now starting to listen to my wife a little bit more and get outside and start trying to develop that muscle once again, which has been stagnant. And what do you call it when a muscle just goes bad?
It's atrophied.
Atrophied. What do you do with an atrophied muscle?
You start working it out slowly,
Maybe
little by little.
Maybe you need some physical therapy, you need a health coach, you need your wife to tell you you're looking clumpy.
Atrophied.
Okay. All right, Lindsay, let's send everyone away with an encouragement. What do you got?
I think just right now people are there's a lot of people that are either out of work, they've been laid off, they're shortened hours, and that's very stressful.
Discouraged.
It's very discouraging, it's very stressful, and I just want to encourage people that this season will pass, and the Lord is in control, and we just need to, do the things that are, be responsible. So be responsible with your finances right now. Not like we have much to do, so it's actually a good thing.
Hang on.
But just hang on, exactly. And enjoy this time that you have with your kids home, even if it's stressful and sometimes hard. Just learn to be able to take a step back and just appreciate it and enjoy the moment. Wash your hands. Don't be kissing your neighbors right now. And get naked. Get naked before you get in your house so you can wash your clothes.
Thanks, Joel. That was good advice, Joel. All right, and I would say during this time, I'm learning for myself, don't take yourself too seriously. In this time, you're going to come out on the other end. You're going to be okay. Life will go on. Hang in there. Develop a community of people. Help your neighbors if you can. Stay connected to people. Like, if you need to talk to somebody, call somebody up, message somebody.
You can reach out to us.
Reach out to us. We'll listen. I was talking to a couple people one from Haiti today and one from India, and it was so cool. We were just messaging back and forth on Facebook, and also talking to our friend
and people
Allison
native to those countries, which is so cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was so fun just to say, hey, we're all going through the same thing. We encourage each other. It was great. But, in this time, you got so much free time on our hands. Possibly, some of us are still working, like we never worked before. But if you have a lot of time in your hands, you're going to, in this time, develop some disciplines, like we've been talking. And they could be really good disciplines, or they could be negative disciplines. I would say, take some time to evaluate yourself and say, hey, how can I invest in myself in this time and come out on the other end having developed some good, better patterns or disciplines in my life that I didn't have before, because it's possible. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Minister, the Ministry, and Me show. This episode has definitely been an episode about me, where we just talk about anything and everything. We just kind of have fun and hope that you guys can just take a break and maybe laugh or maybe just enjoy hearing somebody else's conversation in a time where otherwise you've been paying too much attention to the news or what's going on in the world. So I hope this has been an escape from that, and that you come out with a smile on your face and a little bit more encouraged. So with that being said, you guys, we love you. And if you need anything, please feel free to reach out to us. If you enjoyed this episode, please let me know by giving the Minister, the Ministry, and Me show a 5-star review wherever you listen to this episode. And then also send me your feedback. Send me your encouragement. Send me any of your feedback at jnwheels.jw@gmail.com. So we'll talk to you guys on the next episode.